Hello again. I thought I would come on here and just maybe tell you a little bit more about myself and what the heck I'm doing here. I was born in England. My name is Dawn, and I was born in September. Therefore, September Dawn. um, I lived in Ipswich, Suffolk, England. I was born at Royal Air Force Base, Lakenheath. I, well, my parents and I came to the United States and we lived all over. We lived in Lake Tahoe. We lived in, stayed in other parts of Nevada. We stayed in Boston, Massachusetts with some of my father's family. We lived in Arizona. We lived in Southern California. We lived in Northern California. We lived back in Southern California before we moved to where we are now. And there was probably, a lot of other places in between. I just can't remember them all off the top of my head. Um, I am, was, whatever, a stay at home mom. I have two boys. One is on his own. Enough said about that one. And my youngest is autistic, so he lives with me and he will continue to live with me for the rest of my life. He is the light of my life, and pretty much anyone that knows him, he's just a sweetheart and just a delight. I was about to go out on my own, as far as going out in the world and getting a job and all that stuff. And my youngest son had just gotten his own job through an organization that helps people with disabilities. And so he was going to be working. So it was, a good time for me to start working outside of the house and making my way out in the world. And then my mom was diagnosed with cancer. She had 3 cancers. She had bronchial cancer, laryngeal cancer, and lung cancer. And so I put all of my plans on hold to go to a cancer treatment center with her. It was supposed to be only for 6 weeks. 6 weeks? Yeah, 6 weeks. But it ended up turning into 3 months. She had all kinds of complications and just, it was horrible. And finally, at the end of 3 months, she was able to come home. And I believe she lived about maybe a year and a half after that. She passed away December 23rd, 2016, which in a way it was kind of fitting because her absolute favorite time of the year was Christmas. So it seemed right. If a thing like that can seem right. Then my father, who had struggled a lot with COPD and some other health issues, kept getting sicker and sicker and in and out of the hospitals constantly. So I didn't have to take care of him. I chose to take care of him. I wanted to take care of him. It was a promise that I made myself when I was younger that I wouldn't let anyone that I loved, especially my parents, ever be put into a home. It's just not something that I was comfortable with. I just always had it in my head that if I can take care of my parents, I'm taking care of them. I'm not going to let them be put in that situation. My grandfather was in a home and it wasn't good. and it just always stuck with me. I don't judge other people for doing that. You know, I was lucky enough to be in a situation where I could stay at home and take care of them, and I'm eternally grateful for that. And I know my parents were too. It meant a lot to me that I was able to do that for them. So, after my mom passed, I became very depressed. I knew I was depressed, but I guess I didn't really fully comprehend the depth of the depression, because I was pretty much in bed for a year and a half, and I couldn't understand why I would end up in bed like that. Like, I would have like days of energy just going, and then I would just drop until I couldn't, do anything anymore for days, sometimes weeks. And someone finally pointed out to me that happened to them when their mother passed too, that they just kept going until they couldn't. And someone told them, it's the grief and depression. And so they talked to me about it, and I realized they were probably right. Let me turn this down. I've got my Animal Crossing game on. Okay. And, I don't know. But I let it go on. I kept thinking, oh, I can overcome it. I can do this. I can do this. I can do it. But of course I couldn't. And I was pretty much out of commission for a year and a half. I'd gone from working out on the treadmill every single day for at least an hour into doing other workouts throughout the day to nothing, to just being asleep in bed. So I gained weight, which of course didn't make matters any better. And I finally started to come out of it, and started feeling a little better. And then my father got sicker and sicker, and then I had to take care of him continually 24/7. And then he passed September 8th, 2019, one day after my birthday, which was September 7th. And then I just really went through a lot of depression issues again. I just could not come out of it. I got on, I don't know how many depression medications, and then would get off of them. And then I started getting chronic migraines again. And my doctor put me on another depression medication for that. And then it would work a little while and then quit. And then I'd have to get on another one. And, that cycle just keep going and going. And depression medication, it just doesn't work well with me. It almost feels like being poisoned. And I just kept getting like sicker and sicker and sleeping longer and longer and longer. I was sleeping till 4:30 in the afternoon sometimes. And, that's not a way to live a life. So recently, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I quit the depression medication, and I talked to my doctor about trying a new migraine medication that you take when you actually get the migraine, because the preventative medications were not working. And so I'm trying that now. I don't want to be on antidepressants anymore. They're just horrible for me. They do the complete opposite. So I'm off that. I've started working out again. I've lost 6 pounds, which isn't a whole lot, but it's something. And it keeps me focused and going. What else? Oh, so YouTube is something that I started to watch after my mom passed, and it, kept my mind occupied. And I started learning about all this new makeup and all these influencers, which, some of them are a little whew, but we won't talk about that. But I started to learn about all this new makeup and stuff. I never really knew about, the makeup brands, like, let's say Jaclyn Hill or, Revolution. I've recently become a big fan of their brand. And I only knew about, drugstore makeup. So that whole thing became pretty fascinating to me. And of course, I started buying it and buying it and buying it. And I just absolutely love it. And so after my father passed, I, continually watched YouTube and just watched more and more new people, and just tried to learn as much as I could and things like that. And a YouTube channel was something that I had always wanted to do for quite a few years, but I was uncertain, about putting myself out there like that, and dealing with possible negativity. But I finally just decided, you know, it's something I want to do, so just do it already. So that's how I got started. I mentioned a couple days ago, I think, about some life issues. There are some marital issues going on. I don't want to get too much into it because, not that I have anything to hide, but, it involves somebody else, and I know that I probably will open up about it. I tend to be very open and just put it out there, but I'm trying to be considerate of someone else's privacy for the moment. I'm not really too focused on that right now. Right now, I've come to the realization that I do not want to be dependent on or needing somebody else in my life for anything anymore. I'm done with that. And so at the moment, I'm trying to get things going for my life. Tomorrow, I need to go get an ID because mine expired during the pandemic and I couldn't get a new one because DMV was closed and all that. So I got to do that tomorrow. And then when my ID comes in the mail, I'm going to start looking for a part-time job. I can't do full-time because, no, I really wish I could, but my son, he works part-time. He works, let me see, 5.5 hours a day. So, I can only work his hours because I can't leave him at home alone. So there's that. And I need to get an income going for myself and my child because, like I said, I'm done. No more. And I want to be able to support myself and my child on my own if need be, which probably is going to need be. And if I could make an income off of YouTube, that would be great. But if not, that's fine too, because I'm just really enjoying what I'm doing on YouTube. So I'm happy with that. I need to reopen my fairy house shop online. I know I posted my winter fairy house that I did, and I'm working on a gothic one now. I don't think I've filmed a video on that one yet. I know I did for my Facebook page, but Not for YouTube yet. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow or later. So what else? Oh, and I have 4 kitties. I have 2 boys and 2 girls. So I need to support those guys too. And I think that's about it for now. This is already into 15 minutes, so I don't want to, make too long of a video. But I'm sure I will be back soon. And thank you for listening and watching. And please, if you can, subscribe and like. And thank you.